Okay, so today's lesson is the last of the chapter. And by the end of this lesson, I would like you to be able to write an equation of a line. No matter what the circumstance, I want you to be able to write the equation of a line, whether it's given 2 points, a slope and a point, or the easiest setup, a slope and the y-intercept. Now, if you remember from the last lesson, we talked about how to graph an equation of a line. And from that lesson, we learned, or rather we remember, the equation of a line is written in the form of y equals mx plus b. Now, can you tell me, what does the m represent? The m is the slope. Well done. And the b is the y-intercept. Now, with that being said, every time we have to write an equation, those are the 2 pieces of information. The x and the y represents the infinite set of points that will make that equation true. That basically those points that make up that line. So x and y are left as variables because it depends on what value you put in for x as to what y value would come out of that, so that it would land on that line with that slope and with that y-intercept. Okay, so there are 3 different cases that are possible, and they're going to get progressively harder, but you'll notice every single time we want to know the slope and the y-intercept. No matter what information they give us, we're going to need to find the slope and the y-intercept. So if they give us the slope and the y-intercept, so if they say to you, okay, the slope is 6 and the y-intercept is -2, then all that we need to do is write that in the form of an equation by simply saying, okay, slope is 6. That means that's m. And -2 represents b, so therefore I can write the equation y equals 6x minus 2. And that's as easy as I can make that. Now, again, it's going to get progressively harder. What if they give me the slope and they give me a point? So I'm just going to kind of do that. Let's just, if we were in class together, I'd have you just offer some examples. But let me just say, I'm going to pick the slope to be 1/2 and the y-intercept to be, I don't know, -4. So if I want to write the equation of the line, as I said, excuse me, I'm supposed to give you a point, not a y-intercept. Silly me. All right, so what if I give you a point? Let's just say, I don't know, 2, -6. If I said that that was your point, we have the slope and we have a point. Therefore, we need the y-intercept because, as I said, every equation has the slope and the y-intercept. So I've got to find what that y-intercept actually is. So if the slope is 1/2, that means we know what m is. So in this equation, I know that m is 1/2. Now, what does the 2 represent here? It is the x. And so in place of the x in my y equals mx plus b, in place of x, I'm going to put 2. Again, I do not know what b is. And what does this -6 represent? The y value in the point. So now we're going to solve that. 1/2 times 2, or rather the 2 can divide into that, leave me with -6 equals 1 plus b. Subtract that 1, you get -7 equals b. So now I have my slope and my y-intercept, and so that right there makes up our point. Y equals 1/2 x minus 7. That makes our equation. Done. All right, now last case, and okay, the most difficult, but even this isn't terrible. When it says it's given 2 points, I want you to think of 2 points that you could pick your own 2 if you wanted to. In fact, at the end of this, I want you to bring in 2 points that you're going to have for class tomorrow so that the class will have another example. But for now, I'm going to have to pick it out since I'm the only one in this room right now. So let's say this is -2, 3, and we'll say 4, 5. This will be pretty easy, actually. Okay, so as I said in the beginning, what are the 2 things we need? Slope and y-intercept. So therefore, we're going to find the slope and the y-intercept. How do we find slope? How do you find slope? Slope is the change in y over the change in x, or the rise over the run, or y minus y over x minus x. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract the y's. 5 minus 3. Now if I choose 5 to go first, then that means 4 has to go first in the denominator. And so I have 2 over 6, or 1/3. Okay, now we've got to find the y-intercept. Again, the first thing, and maybe I'll even write some steps here. The first step is to find the slope. Now, this is actually just like the second example here that I gave you with a slope and a point, because I have 2 points, but I'm just going to pick a point. Pick a point. And so in this case, just to pick 1 point, let me just pick this one. Okay? So if I pick -2, 3, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the info into y equals mx plus b. Plug info into y equals mx plus b. So that I'm looking at the same scenario as b. Y, what is y? 3 equals my slope, 1/3. X is -2 plus b. And I'm actually glad I chose this, even though the slope worked out cute. It does have a fraction, and so I don't want you to be afraid of those either. And it's kind of good to have that as an example here. All right, so I plug it in. I'm going to solve for b. So let's do just that. So I multiplied through. Now I've got to add the 2/3 to both sides. And you might say, oh, but that's a fraction. I don't really want to. I'm just going to stop here so that Mrs. Benson, you'll do all the work. I would like for you to make that opportunity good for you. You need to learn how to deal with fractions. Fractions are your friends. Okay, if 3 is going to be my denominator, then to make this a 3 in the bottom, that would mean I'd have to multiply by 3. So that's 9/3. Okay? And we added it, so this becomes 11/3 is your b. So now, when I write that equation, I know the slope is 1/3. I know the y-intercept is 11/3. So my equation is y equals 1/3 x plus 11/3. Can anybody think of another way of writing this equation? I would like for you to do that. Finish this example today and have that ready with you for tomorrow. How do you rewrite this equation in another way, in equivalent per se? Because more than likely, if that was the CLEP exam, if they were to ask a question like this, they probably wouldn't have a choice like this. They're going to make you go one step further. So come in with that into class, and that's where I'm going to stop this lesson. For the next few days, we'll be reviewing and getting ready. The test is coming in the next couple of days. So look at the calendar on the website, or the classroom news section on my website, or certainly just pace it out through your homework packets. All right, I'll see you in class.